Alright, then. Wait. These guys go all the way to Copenhagen. 6 Copenhagen will be. You know, a lot of divisions there because just wide open fields. Those are actually more in Copenhagen, despite being easier defensive terrain by far. Still, each heavy infantry is 24 wide, so you can only really have 3 combat. This is 3 in a reserve. Another 2 will be here. Fifth and a 6th Odense. Infantry. Balancing brigades is right. That was turn them into. Rear guards, maybe. I didn't get many good, much variety divisions from AI. Watch logistics. I'll train some of these guys. Oh, new balance of power stuff. You can see very easily we can switch it to welfare and get monthly population. Can lose Army, Navy, and Air experience, or I could just spend more political power. Basically, 25 political power for 5 each of these. Probably worth that. Defend the policy neutrality. Initially, I want to do an economic buildup. Questions of why I want to do that or go right to limit exports. And here's Axel Larsen, the communist politician. The guy who sold out to CIA, went from social democrat, that is, I'm not sure if that was really democratic socialist, because social democrats, the name originally referred to what we now call democratic socialists. Then Trotskyists, then hardline or classical communist, whatever orthodox, and then socialist sellout to the CIA, who split the Danish Communist Party in two with an anti-Soviet wing, and just really had sold out his principles, sold out for vacations and money and probably women knowing the CIA. Like, probably, I don't know. Handsome man in this picture. The real guy, seen some pictures. This is probably him when he was younger. He definitely developed a double chin. Seems to be a Danish trait. Other politicians, older. I don't know. The mic bump there. Anyways, he gives Political power gain, recruitable population, consumer goods factor, which will probably be capped anyways, as long as I don't get too many things that hurt it. Party popularity, stability modifier, and trade law cost. Yeah, I was going to go to limit exports, or even go export focus, to really focus on research speed at the definite expense of military production. But this would increase the market construction boost multipliers. The only problem is I'd have to buy a ton of steel and short on oil and rubber and steel. I'd have to buy all those things. Probably just limit exports is the right choice. I'll have to save up long. Oh, and the AI automatically started this, or I started it without realizing. Yeah, no, don't secure Danish freedom and overcap the... I might have done that. But, yeah, I'd overcap the war support if the British give me one more shipment of guns. After suffering the Norwegian occupation, we'll have an easier time liberating other nations from their oppression, or even change the government that one is more friendly towards us. Being suffered under Norwegian occupation, forward their rights to protect their freedom by subjugating them in a potential peace conference. Basically, cheaper peace conference stuff. But that's mostly it. For that stuff, I can't do any of this unless I can get a Nordic country in my faction. Highly unlikely. Procure allied weapons now. Smaller nation, our ability to produce armaments is limited, and to secure independence we must acquire the best possible equipment out there. Perhaps we can convince our allies to supply us with necessary arms in a subsidized deal. But we're in a faction with the UK. England. I should be getting back my focuses any second here. Wait like a moment for the game to decide to give me back focuses. Ban the opposition's political uniforms, or ban all political uniforms actually. If things are already on the side of warfare, it'll bring it back towards welfare. Give up command power instead of army the stuff. I don't have a army spirit that gives me better generals, so I might actually just give up the command power. Defend the policy of neutrality or speak out against military armament. Getting my focuses back any day now. Might be one of those cases if you have to save and load. Sometimes the game likes to just do the save. And that sure gave me the factories back that was given to the Norwegians anyways. I've seen war, I've seen blood running from the wounded. Can't read all, but FDR is talking about the horror of war. Ah, yep, save and load. It's a bug. It should have triggered instantly. But the next time you reload. Voila, my focus tree. Unlocked. An issue with it was there. It was just hidden. I couldn't see it. Might have been a way to undo and reapply the hide focuses. On a setting somewhere. Anyways, I can start reading on heavy industry regulations. Based on the way these actually work, Consumer goods factory factors for some it always goes up and others only if it's below a certain number. So if one was to get heavy industry regulations, introduce the 5-year plan, and then seize the means of production, for instance, and adjust industrial priorities, I forget one of these wouldn't increase the consumer goods factory factor anymore. So that would be a reason if I was to do from the day zero to play as Denmark and make sure they go down their industrial tree early before the Norwegians declare on them. This is part of the rearmament branch. Don't know why it shows it to me. I can create an operative, or I can go industry regulations right away. Lack of resource penalty is really killing me. So based on the idea of, oh, we'll just produce more resources. Very capitalist thinking there, except guess what? The only resources they have are a little bit of oil and steel. It doesn't give me tungsten, chromium, not nearly enough steel, and Denmark doesn't have the resources. The regulations are necessary, and they allow the 5-year plan, which gives max factories in a state. Mainly Finn would be able to gain lots, since this area is already maxed. So Jayland actually gets build slots from this, but I'm already capped. I mean, it would still give the extra slots, and that's relevant. If someone ever occupied Jayland, they would have access to more build slots than otherwise. Me doesn't help. I don't know if the Civ produced. It probably produced the Civ if I destroyed this fuel silo. That might be a reason to do that, to replace it with a Civ. I'll start replace the dockyard with a Civ. Since the Civ is probably more valuable in the dockyard. Probably. Or mill with the Civ, actually. It's not something you normally do, but if you can't give the mills the resources they need, I mean, there's literally not enough resources I can buy. Chromium, sure. Steel, no. If I can't supply the factories with steel, I'm better off just having more Civ and buying more resources. It looks like now I'm no longer at war. I can buy tons of aluminum. Well, not tons, but a decent amount of aluminum. Actually, this will hit a crunch soon, too. So yeah. Without steel or aluminum, there's not much you can make with just rubber and tungsten. Chromium, so yeah. Probably replace the mill with the Civ instead of having to do a mill with the Civ conversion. Using the focus tree. Obviously won't be doing full employment, that's dumb. I'll be doing the 5-year plan for the recruitable pop factor. 20%. Seized means production could have been an extra 15%. I wish they had cooperated with the Norwegians. So, and they can still basically demand independence or war if the petition for independence doesn't work. And yeah, they can try petitioning for it, and if that doesn't work, no, because if they pledge allegiance, they can't sanction sabotages. Well, they can actually still go down this instead of pledging allegiance if they want. If you want, just can't get military investments done. Well, there's always the standard autonomy system. Alright, anyways, limited exports would put, of my 35 steel, I'll put 7 up for sale. Someone will probably buy it. That'll give me 1 Civ. I'll buy with a Civ elsewhere. that will be a net decrease in resources for sure. The main advantage is that it lets me buy weapons. I need to be on limit exports for it. Anything above limit exports is about research and just a very slow build-up. I probably need to produce what I can. Lend-lease maybe the Soviets. That will help Central Powers and maybe spread communism. And they have the manpower to whip any weapons I send them. So the atomic bomb project gives operative thoughts. That's, but also research bonus. They can either steal progress or develop themselves. It's being agnostic about what the Soviets stole, atomic bomb stuff, how much they stole. I don't know. They got cut off their 5-year plan, although I can bring Trotsky back, and he actually can do their 5-year plan someday. Do the whole Comic-Con thing, transformation of nature. No, they can't, because they can't do Eastern development. They'll never be able to do transformation of nature either. Or would they ever get the steel casting industry, or, yeah. Oh. Here and there they had some factories. Some built up. What do I care about that? What's more important is the political stuff. Actually, I ignore Japan. Middle East diplomacy. Know what they're doing there. They did collectivists so they can actually pressure Saudi Arabia to go communist. And they'll either invade Iraq and Iran, which will put them, or the UK, which is already allied with Iran, or they'll support Afghan communism and still petition for. I'm not already at war with the UK. What am I saying? So the question is whether they invade Iraq and Afghanistan or just Iran. I've had to fight the Central Powers if I didn't join them as Syria over these countries. Smart thing would have just been to join them if I didn't want to, you know. Oh well. Thought I could help Norway win with civil war and then I can move on to other things. Instead that ended up eating me up and spitting me out. Did they get the claims in Berserkria before they joined this faction? Nope. So they hadn't gotten this far. They got claims in Poland, for sure. And they've done so secure Leningrad. Man in Karjala, Korea told no, but because Korea was already communist, they decided not to invade, I guess. They may yet justify war in the future. And yeah, they can pressure Norway, Sweden, and me, actually, to become communist. I'm already communist. Fun. Pressure government can pressure a country into their faction, though. I might be forcing the Central Powers eventually anyways. We'll see how things go. But yeah. I end up in their faction, I won't want the Soviets too weak. This is about military production, mainly. Lack of resource penalties. Some max factories. But if we do this, production boosts. That might allow me to switch from flexible to streamlined line someday for cheap when I've got a bunch of new factories that I've conquered. It also might help with equipment conversion techs. Those are considered production, I think. So, import machinery and material can be used to retrofit older aircraft and stuff. When resources are tight, equipment conversions start to make more sense. They don't cost, if I'm not mistaken, nearly as much resources or any. I'm not sure if it's like ships where it's the difference. If I add extra guns to an aircraft, does it cost the same aluminum as producing a new one? I don't think so. But it's been a while since I did any retrofitting of aircraft or tanks or anything. This adds build slots to Finn and I think it's only that one. Modernized industrial machinery. This is supposed to be multiple build slots and it's possible. You guys won't believe what came up as a possible result. Canadian military spending. Guess Canada's looking at militarizing because the US is threatening to invade. That's dumb. It's never going to work. They don't have the numbers. They should focus on alliances with Europe, strengthening that. Yeah, it's only one build slot. I didn't like by already fully developing Stilland. Invest in R&D. Production synthetic resources. Definitely use the synthetic. One civ for islands. Industrial reinvestments. This reduces recurrable population factor. Although this would increase it. Back up. Problem with that. I need Jutland or Southern Jutland. And each one will get a build slot. So I need it for the North Sea oil drilling. Jutland. It's a sieve and a synthetic refiner. Still, it's my civilian line. Modify Danish industrial capacities by dockyard output and ship refitting speed. Or just dockyard output. Refit old ships. That's got some use when steel is limited. This upgrades your admirals. Structures of Navy. What troll class ship? Isn't that? Yeah, it's a coastal defense ship. If you have cruisers tech, it gives you a cruiser instead. Focus. does this give you coastal defense ship and destroyer? Production resource need, conversion speed. Yeah, I probably need to refit ships just because there's not enough steel. Of course, that'll only be useful as long as I have ships pools to refit, and I only have a few. Oh, raiding fleet or task force shipbuilders. I see. These also increase production output. I don't know. This is always conversion. This can get extra engines that appropriate dense whatever to expand production facilities. Master main engines, speed, range, and fuel usage. Okay, I probably want to modernize the Navy. But I'll want cruiser and destroyer attack before I even do this. So, Navy off to wait a little. Foreign or domestic designs. Either one gives a mill and Bowen home. The bigger issue is Ortog or 5. Multi-role or naval aircraft designer. Which is like fighters, Cass or King. Which one do I want to give a trait that helps him grow? Probably Birch. That's naval. Foreign designs, probably. Instead of 265% bonuses, 100% bonus, and some import subsidies. I think I'll probably want to save for the manor. I'm already at 1944. Won't have these available before 45 hits, so domestic funds give me more overall bonuses. It would specialize me in just the production of naval aircraft, really. That's a lot of bonuses for carrier fighters, reliability. 20% air defense, 10 reliability and range. Yeah, that's a serious air defense. I probably multi-roll. Neither of our two air forces has the capability to design, build a functioning fighter or bomber. We should look elsewhere to purchase aircraft. If we find the design satisfying, we can look into acquiring a production license. But yeah, you can also get a production license of stuff and sometimes retrofit or something. Oh yeah, I remember it gives you a research boost for teching that thing if you didn't have the tech. Of course, it also costs more to get a license and things. this is all Army, Navy, Air Force stuff. Useful, all of it. But the very first priority is probably my civilian economy, because that's what's used to build other factories, and I've already run out of resources. Unless I can just offload tons of guns to the Soviets right now. This is just production boosts. So I'll do trade law first. It's some serious aluminum shortages. Can anyone sell me any aluminum? Swiss or Canada? Lombardy, Venice, or Switzerland? Looks like there's already damage and they're still able to... Yeah. Venice is a more reliable source. Aluminum. More surplus and it's already well damaged. Time to import rubber. Now that I've increased my fighter production. Singapore, which I'll be able to flip communist, so they're not actually British anything despite the name. If I send a spy there, it won't be too hard to flip from communist. With the East Indies, which is less support. I think actually the very first thing I should do is expand my intelligence services. Establishing an intelligence service would help us increase our vigilance, while the tensions in Europe increase and conflict threatens to erode our sovereignty. Creates intelligence agency. Yes, please. Alright, so we gain access to markets, start buying weapons and stuff soon enough. I'm not sure it's... Well, I can do the change before I fill up 10 days and then go into negative input over power. Okay. Bought aluminum and rubber. I'll run some shortage of tungsten for now. Rifles, rocks. A little bit of steel fighting these old obsolete weapons being produced. There's a little slight steel shortage. It'll get bumped up when I'm producing modern. The ordering matters for resource. The first factors in the queue get resources before the last ones. Ban fascism eventually. Now is definitely not the time. Alright. This guy will have to wait to get his metal offensive doctrine until later. It's not like any of my men have really ever seen combat anyways. Or well. I'm at peace. Sweet, sweet peace for now. First task is to open up my economy. Partially. Well, to a limited degree. Move some of these crushing tariffs or whatever. Oh, I can ask for docking rights to the Soviets now. And Soviet Lithuania. They won't give me military access, but docking rights. And these countries I was at war with, I can now try and see if they'll... Croatia, Slovenia, Croatia, Slovenia. Yeah, China. And Sinkai and stuff. Docking rights. Sun King. Not like it ever getting close to anything. Alright, Turkey, Bulgaria, Romania. Oh yeah, Montenegro, I missed that one. And Soviet Iberian puppets. Montenegro somehow has more factories than should be able to fit in a certain single state, and they don't occupy anything else. They must have off-map factories, but I don't know where they got them all. Now we can there for docking rights. Soviets ever reclaim any of that territory. That'd be useful. Danish fleets can now more or less sail around the world. Very few red, well, still some red areas, but a lot of areas they can reach now. Of course, that'll be reduced if I actually go to war with anyone. Oh, AI bloody messed with all this and I didn't notice it. Right, there's the sub-forces training. This Pearl Hammerich. You know what? They didn't buy this quick, did 2 destroyers. Merge all this into the strike force. Okay. More preparations. Still elected military. I have to remove that the slow way. Basically, Heron realization, Heron, whatever, will remove the spirit. It'll make into a spirit that doesn't do anything bad, anyhow. Army and command power and experience for my generals. That's a reason to expand my general officer corps before I sign that. Do that focus. Because there is a cost to not spend the political power. To speak out against military armament. Well, everything is a trade-off in this game. So, no hurry to... Poland canceled that IP? Canada, Spain, Iceland, Norway. Not worth the paper was printed on, apparently. Then we might do the same for long. Yeah, resupply your ships in my ports. Now I can get military access.